Let's not waste any time today and let's go ahead and jump in and talk about the one weapon that needs to be in the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Let's do this. Hey, how are ya? I'm Derek and welcome to Zelda Theory. This YouTube channel is 100% focused on my favorite video game series of all time, The Legend of Zelda. Videos here consist of gaming lists, guides, walkthroughs, as well as Zelda Theory videos, just like the one you just clicked on. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the little bell notification icon for weekly Zelda videos. Every single one of you means the absolute world to me, so thank you so much for being a part of our weekly conversations here at Zelda Theory. Also, at the end of this video, be sure to stay after our conversation to check out the description below this video to see links and recommendations to other Zelda content and conversations we've had this far. There's a lot of staples in the Legend of Zelda series, and I mean a lot. We have the infamous soundtracks, the complete and utter silence of our main hero Link, and the massive arsenal of weapons Link uses throughout the games. Breath of the Wild stepped this up even further by introducing weapons like the bombs that are no longer slotted as quantity listed items, but ones that you can reuse over and over again depending on the cooldown time. We also have the infamous Sheikah slate that was literally the focal point of the entire game and what Link uses to summon the aforementioned bombs, stasis, cryonis, magnesis, and the camera. Come on now, everyone, this is literally Link's iPhone. I swear Nintendo's a genius on how they integrate real-life technology into one of the best games ever made. Nerdiness aside, Nintendo even decided to give Link a flipping motorcycle in Breath of the Wild. Now we all know of course this is through the DLC of the game. I guess Nintendo just thought that riding horses and wild bears just wasn't good enough. Now that Breath of the Wild 2 has been confirmed to be in development for well over a year now, to me it seems way longer than that, but still I think it's time, Nintendo. It's time to give Link a gun. Like, literally just do it. This has been a huge want for me since all the way back in Oracle of Ages. You guys remember that game, right? In the Oracle games, we had the Siege Shooter, which pretty much acted like an upgrade to Link's slingshot in the game. Since all the way back in the original Zelda, Link has had deadly weapons. I mean, he's had swords, bows, bombs that explode. Yeah, pretty dangerous, and something I wouldn't let my 10-month-old son play with. Now obviously I know that firearms from Fortnite or The Last of Us 2 would absolutely never be found in Hyrule. By the way, I heard that The Last of Us 2 was terrible. What's your opinion on it? Let me know in the comments below. Getting back on track here, what if potentially the Sheikah created a gun or blaster of some sort exactly like how the slate allowed Link to have bombs and stasis in Breath of the Wild, you know? After all, the sheikah are the race of Breath of the Wild, or the series in general, that is 100% responsible for most of the weapons, machinery, etc. that we tend to see in the Zelda games. The sheikah are the ones that created the Sheikah slate that gave Link the ability to freeze time and to literally create ice pillars from water. They are also the sole creators of the Guardians that were intended to be used as aids in the battle with Calamity Ganon. However, we all know how this story turned out. These very same Guardians became possessed by the Calamity and turned on the many different races in Breath of the Wild. The Gerudo, the Zora, the Gorons, as well as the Rudo were greatly affected by this. This is one thing, in my opinion, I think Nintendo nailed 100%. The story is really lacking in some areas, but the one place to me where it shines through insanely is how they made the player literally feel hopeless. The fact that Link, Zelda, and the other champions were the only ones who could change what was about to transpire. It gives me chills just talking to you all about it. The Sheikah also added the death laser on the Guardians, and I mean that in every sense of the word. I can't count how many times I tried to nail a perfect block during my playthroughs and just completely got annihilated. I lost a lot of horses too, unfortunately. Anyway, I bring the laser up because this is just another example where Nintendo has literally done everything except give Link a gun. I mean, they gave it to the Guardians, so I think it's only fair that our hero has one as well. Now with all this being said, there is a slight drawback to this theory. Letting Link wield a quote-unquote sheikah gun, yes, that's what we are calling it here, okay, might make Link a little overpowered in a way. considering most of the enemies in Breath of the Wild had mainly melee weapons or very basic bows. I think Nintendo could easily balance this by making the material to get the actual gun or the ammunition or whatever you want to call it extremely hard to find. Like maybe an Easter egg that is off the beaten path, or instead of this, maybe make the gun have certain upgrades throughout the game, exactly like how you were able to upgrade the runes in Breath of the Wild. Makes perfect sense, right? Come on, I cannot be alone here. Either one of these scenarios can make the possible sheikah gun powerful, yet encourage you and I as the player to use it in certain situations. Kind of like how you wouldn't randomly waste an ancient arrow on a red bokoblin, right? Now here's another theory we could potentially throw into the mix. What if the rumors about Zelda being playable are like legit true? What if Zelda herself is able to wield the sheikah gun? This might be an absolutely insane theory, but you have to admit that whether you agree or not, this would be freaking amazing and something to try and consider. Link's massive arsenal of weapons have always been a staple in the franchise. Breath of the Wild truly expanded this concept. Nintendo changed so much with this game, and it's one of the many reasons why I love Nintendo. They are always willing to go against the grain to deliver something new to an ongoing franchise that we all love. Here's to hoping that Link is able to wield a gun in the sequel, or an assault rifle. I'd be cool with that too. Now check this out, my fellow Zelda fans. If you like this video and you want to see more Zelda content, be sure to subscribe, turn on all notifications, and leave a comment down below on what Zelda videos you would like to see next. Click on either of the videos on the screen now to watch another Zelda video, and I'll talk to you over on one of those videos. Let's head on over.